Do you remember like how we met? It's funny because do you remember that the first night we went to that event in Abu Dhabi, the one
The,
outdoors, and then we left and then we went to the restaurant, to the bar?
yes, yes, yes. That was, yeah, at this table. Okay.
Yeah, so I came late to the bar and I couldn't find the other people that I was with earlier. And I saw you sitting with Akeem, and I just came and said, "Hi guys, how you doing? My name is Dimitri." And then we start talking. And then you told me you like Munger and Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett. And then we're going back and forth, and that was it.
Yep.
Then we became BFFs from now on, and then there you go.
By the way, are you going to the Berkshire event in May? Berkshire Hathaway meeting.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
talking about Berkshire Hathaway.
Yep.
No, I don't think I'm going to make it, even though I should, because I hold a significant amount of Berkshire Hathaway stock. And I'm also a huge fan of Warren Buffett, like yourself. And I watched all of the annual meetings on YouTube. You know, I watched them over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It would be a dream come true going to the event, but I don't think I'm gonna make it. My traveling schedule for the year is booked already. Are you going?
Yeah, I'm going. I don't know if Warren Buffett will live 5 years to 98. So
Yeah.
before he passes away, maybe he will die next year.
If you go, make sure you get a question.
Oh no, you know how hard it is to in
Yes.
2022 I queued and I started doing the line at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Okay,
Yes.
the event starts at 8, 9, something like this.
Okay.
So I was like third to one door, but there are many doors around the event, and I rushed to get a quick seat, and there were already many people queuing up to ask questions.
Do you ask the question yourself, or you have to tell that lady from CNBC and she's gonna ask the question?
Oh no, you can do both. Either you just send a
Am
mail to
I?
Becky Quick,
Yeah.
and Becky Quick will ask the question on your behalf, or
Yeah.
you queue up, you take the mic and you go. But I have no question for them. I know everything I need. Like I don't have anything to ask them, anything relevant to ask them. Maybe what their favorite meal is. I don't have this information.
I mean, they. You know what I always wanted to try? I wanted to try See's candy.
Oh yeah,
Do you see them eating those chocolates at the event?
that's so good.
So so that's his company from San Francisco. I order a pack of that from Amazon. It's €100 a pack of 20 pieces of chocolate. And I wanted to sit one year, watch it on CNBC Live, eating those See's candy and drinking those cherry cokes.
Man, that's the dream. That's the
I mean, that's
dream.
a lot of sugar. They are eating a lot of sugar there.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
They're
yeah.
eating a lot of sugar. And if half of the stories are true about his diet, of Warren Buffett. I don't know about Charlie, but Warren, that he was studying on his way to work and getting like McDonald's and
Mm.
then drinking like 4, 5, 6 Cokes every day. I don't know how much is that true or he's just trying to market the companies that he owns. But if half of it is true, and God bless him. God
That's
bless him.
insane. I
It
think
is
it's
insane.
true.
I
And
think I also think it's true. I, I believe his credibility is so he has some credibility for us to believe him even about something as meaningless as his diet.
yep.
His credibility about the markets and about everything he does in his life doesn't give us a reason to second guess his diet, even though it sounds ridiculous because he's so wealthy, he can open like a McDonald's in his house probably,
Yeah.
just so he doesn't have to drive. He's driving. I mean, I don't know if what he's driving now. If he's driving now, I don't think he's driving now. But back in the day, like 10 years ago, he was driving an old Cadillac that he
Yeah.
bought $30,000. At the time, he was worth $90 billion. And his daughter told him, it's embarrassing that you have all, he's just driving a Cadillac.
Yeah.
But since we're talking about Buffett, let me tell you why I respect him. Beyond that, because if I have to say, I credit him, like a lot of I watch all those videos on YouTube over and over again. Everything that he says, we know about it, we know the quotes. You know, we talk, me and you, like we were talking about him like for days in Abu Dhabi. So we both know what we know from Buffett. But what I respect the most about him is that he's extremely powerful. He can get on TV on CNBC, and if he wants, he doesn't want to, but if he wants, he can crash the market just like that.
Oh yeah.
But he never does, and he never recommends stocks. He never talks bad about companies. Never. He always watches what he says, and he's trying to be very careful what he says. So whatever he says, it cannot be second guessed by investors. But some fund managers, they take every opportunity to get on TV and just push their short position they have on whatever company they're trying to short. So when it comes to credibility, he's second to none.
By the way,
yeah,
I looked at your portfolio today
Yeah.
and saw that even though your Nvidia position when you bought it was like 3%, but the stock has gone up so much that it is now your first position, a triple, and it just grew and grew and grew and grew.
You know what? It's funny because that's my. If you ask me what I do well when it comes to investing, I can just buy them and do nothing, and
Oh,
just
that's
see
good.
them go up and down. Because Nvidia, if you remember, during the summer, it didn't go anywhere. It was going sideways,
Yeah.
and then it went crazy. But the true effect of compounding is holding them like for a long time. I mean, when was it that it went up like it went up 10% in a day? When was it, like a month ago, like 3-4 weeks ago?
Oh, yeah.
After earnings, it went like 7%. That day, it went up half. Like I bought it for $250 a stock, something like that, and it went on a single day up $100.
Yeah, half
So
of
if
your
you put it in
position.
perspective, yeah. But if
Plus
you
50%.
but if I was to sell it up 50%, it was going to be good, but it looks awesome when it's like 200% up and you see the portfolio 200% up.
And it's your first
so up.
position.
And you know what? It was way down.
Mm.
It was way down, and then it went up and up and up and up and up.
Yeah, in 2020 and 2022, the thing got crashed 70%. Nobody
Yes.
wanted to touch it.
Yes.
And then for some reason, I don't know if it crashed to $100. I don't have the
130, I believe, 130, 120, something like that.
insane.
Depending.
Even in 200, if you reach 1,000, it's a 5x. It can be the biggest company in the world if it continues like this for 1 month or 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
It can be.
That's ridiculous, though. I believe it's ridiculous. If it goes beyond Apple, it's ridiculous. There's no way around it. It doesn't matter that it's my last position. I want it to go up, but we have to be realistic. It's ridiculous. Apple has what? $250 billion like revenue a year, a quarter of a trillion. I mean, and Nvidia has like 60.
Yep.
And what are they selling? They're not selling anything to us. I mean, you can't just go into an Nvidia store and buy like a microchip. So the thing with Nvidia, when I bought Nvidia, I bought it with the premise that we're living in a digital age. Microchips are going to be are going to be needed for phones, for computers, and they are the best at what they do. They were the best back then, and they are the best now. So as an allocation in my portfolio, because I have some technology in my portfolio, beyond the financials and energy and all that, I want to sign NVIDIA. I had no idea it was going to go to $1,000. Let's not kid ourselves, okay? Let's just be honest. I had no idea. I thought maybe it could reach the highs again, and maybe then some. And then the whole thing with AI came out. No, the AI story was already there, but it was a concept. It wasn't an actual product yet. Then, when OpenAI started with Microsoft, then the whole thing started. That was the beginning. Microsoft and OpenAI, and then the application, who is going to manufacture the chips for AI. NVIDIA was right there, and I was so lucky to be holding some NVIDIA.
Yeah, we see some crazy moves right now, and
Yes,
every
yes,
investor is piling into this stock. And yeah, as
yes,
you said, like 200% is very good to have this kind of performance, especially if
yes,
it's your first position. So that's
yes.
driving your big performance right now.
Even the other chips did well too. Like
Oh
the
yeah.
other American chips, not like NVIDIA, but and at the time, what was the story? They were making, because before the AI, the storyline prior to AI, they were making the GPUs for Bitcoin mining. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think so.
So they were doing that. And then before that, it was all about gaming.
Yep.
So NVIDIA did not appear from anywhere. It was gaming, then it was Bitcoin mining, now it's AI, and whatever the next thing is going to be, they're going to be in it. And this thing's going to go. So we're living in the digital age, okay? You want to have some technology. Listen, I like value too. I like financials and I like energy, and I believe they have a partner portfolio. But if you want to be diversified and at least the time that you're spending researching and buying and selling and all that, you want at least to have like a significant return on your investment. And I know they're a bit riskier than the traditional names that we like to invest, but NVIDIA was risky at the time. It's way riskier now. It's way riskier, but I'm sitting on a 200%. So
Yep. You are
I'm holding it all the way up.
all the way up.
I'm just letting you know, maybe I'm going to trim a little bit, maybe like 15%. When it goes beyond 10% of the portfolio, and because it's very volatile, it doesn't bother me, the volatility doesn't bother me, but it's going to bother my caveats. You know, you wake up one day and they're 2% down and then 2% up. Some people get bothered by that. It doesn't bother me at all. I
Yeah.
can sleep at night very well.
And what happens if NVIDIA reaches a $3 trillion market cap beyond Apple, bigger than Microsoft and Apple?
Okay. If that happens, if it goes beyond Apple and Microsoft, I'm going to sell more of it. Not all of it, but I'm going to trim it a bit more because it's ridiculous. Okay? I know they are the best to what they do, but it's ridiculous. More than Apple. I mean, Apple, and like I was saying before, they're selling chips. I mean, I haven't seen one in real life. I don't know how they look like. I can Google them and I can see the chip. Okay, how much they weigh, how much they cost. They cost a lot of money, but like $38,000 a piece or something like that.
Yeah.
They cost a lot of money, but it's not like walking to an Apple store. You have an Apple phone, you have an Apple computer, you have an Apple Watch, so you can make just justification in your head somehow that you know what you're investing in it. But NVIDIA it's like magic almost.
Yeah. The biggest company in the US, deserves to be a company that sells to the consumer, like real products
Yes.
that people
Yes.
are aware of, like Microsoft. Everybody knows what Microsoft is, their products.
Yes.
Same for Apple or Facebook, Google, this kind of stuff.
Yes. If they come up with a phone, if they come out with a phone, not a phone that works really well, just a phone that has like NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA on it, okay? This thing goes to 5 trillion, like in a hurry.
Yeah, like Alphabet and Google with the Pixel phones.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
they don't do phones, it's a search engine, but
Yes.
out of nowhere they did a phone and it worked pretty well. So
Yes. Yes.
oh yeah, that's crazy. That's some crazy move. The hype is just unbelievable.
I mean, if you are considering buying NVIDIA now, I mean, if you're a speculator and you're going to buy it now and sell it like if it goes up 10, 20%, okay, I get that.
Mhm.
There are people that do that. But if you're going to tell me that you are a value investor, you're going to buy NVIDIA here, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. I mean, you wanna buy like 1% just to have some skin in the game, just in case you don't want to. You want some FOMO. You want some of that. Okay, I get it. But if you're going to take a significant amount of your portfolio on NVIDIA right now with this price, with this valuation, with this price to earnings, I wouldn't buy it right now.
Yeah, the risk reward is just way different. You
Yeah,
you did an interesting thing. Just put a 2% position and see how it goes. But the rest of your portfolio is just JP Morgan, Berkshire Hathaway,
yes,
ExxonMobil, things that you know well, simple
yeah,
stuff that generate a lot of free cash flow. It was your 1% bet, and it
yes,
just turned out to be a very lucky bet and turned out to
yes,
be the biggest performer of your portfolio. So that
yes,
moves everything. But yeah, that's a good risk allocation. Speaking of risk allocation and the hype, I see that you also did a 1% bet on Tesla because you still
yes.
own it. And I've not lived it because I never owned Tesla stock. But is it a similar kind of hype that we see in terms of retail investors, huge expectations, and
Yes.
run up because Tesla did a 10x like in 2 years?
So, okay, so Tesla. So it's the same way I saw NVIDIA. You have to see it on the macro level, okay? So on the macro level, what is it? EVs. So governments, global warming and all that, governments, they want more EVs. People want more EVs. Have you ever gotten into Tesla? Have you ever
Oh yeah,
driven Tesla?
very good experience. Yeah.
It's a spaceship, right?
Oh yeah.
The spaceship, it's fast, it's fancy, it's sexy, it's all that. It has like games in it. It's ridiculous. Okay, so the product is there. The willingness of governments to give money to the people to go buy electric cars so they can get the gasoline and diesel cars out of the street, it's also there. So there is a market for EVs. The question is, the question is, who is going to be the winner? Because back in 2020, when Tesla was going crazy, remember the 10x in a year and a half, whatever was that.
Crazy,
Then
crazy.
all the companies started doing EVs. Ford started doing EVs, and GM, and the German companies, and then they discovered that it's not profitable. That Elon Musk had the secret. He tricked everyone, thinking it was easy. Seriously, he tricked everyone thinking it was easy, but it wasn't. He was able to do it with economies of scale and and he started earlier, so his charging stations are around the US. He has the advantage, okay? So I believe eventually in 2030, in 2040, more electric cars are going to be in the street. But the diesel cars and the petrol cars, they're not going away. They're not going away. The economy of the world cannot switch to to electric in the timeline that politicians and activists are thinking about. Carbon neutral by 2050, these people are dreaming, okay? These people are dreaming. That's why I also hold some oil in my portfolio.
Yep.
I have some ExxonMobil as well. So I'm not taking a position, I'm not betting, because both things can be true. We can transition to electric, okay? It's going to take more time than people think. It's not going to be in 20 years. It's going to be like in the next 40 years. But at the same time, until we fix how we're flying with planes and they become electric, until we figure out the grid, the electricity in our houses, how to be electric and from solar, all the shipping in the oceans, all the cargo going back and forth, when that becomes electric, when all those things become electric, then I'm going to sell my ExxonMobil position. But until then, I'm going to hold my ExxonMobil, and consolidation in the oil industry is going to happen. You hold Occidental, right?
Oh yeah, that's my second biggest position.
And you're not thinking about selling it, right? You're going to
No.
hold that thing. You're going to hold that thing all the way up. Same as me. I'm holding it because as it becomes, so another thing is going to happen. The oil industry is going to be more regulated going forward. Okay, so only the deep pockets are going to be able to afford the new regulations. Who owns Occidental? Not owns the whole thing, but a significant portion of it.
Oh yeah.
Your boy Buffett.
The god.
Yeah. So ExxonMobil. So I believe in the next 10 years, it's just going to be ExxonMobil, BP, Chevron, Oxy. What is the French? The Total. So it's just going to be 10 companies. Like worldwide, it's going to be 10 companies. Saudi Aramco. So that's going to be. So you want a piece of them? You better buy it now. But at the same time, the world electric cars are gonna come into the market more and more and more every year. So you want to have some of that as well. And in my portfolio right now, I hold Tesla and I hold some Rivian. Did you see Rivian all the way down?
Yeah, I saw Rivian and I didn't like it at all.
Yes.
And I don't understand the hype with Rivian since the beginning.
The hype at the time, I'm going to give you my reasoning behind every position. So at the time when Rivian went public, it was the only company that was manufacturing pickup trucks, electric pickup trucks. Okay. Tesla had the Cybertruck, but it wasn't to be manufactured for a couple of more years. I think it just came out like 3 months ago. But having lived in America for 10 years, I understand that America is not just New York on the east side and San Francisco, Los Angeles on the west side. There's all that country in between. So if you think some guy in Texas is going to be driving a Cybertruck, it's ridiculous. It's never going to happen. Okay? They want something that is more appropriate for that demographic, for the Midwest. And at the time, Rivian doing the pickup trucks and also doing the vans for Amazon. Amazon owns 19% of Rivian.
Yep.
So that's another thing. But it's a risk, okay? It's a risk. I think it's like maybe 1.5% of my portfolio, maybe 2%.
Yeah, not that big.
If that does a 10x.
Yeah. But
why not?
Were there talks about being acquired by Amazon? Or it's just a partnership?
No, so when it went public and Amazon bought. I don't think they bought it. I think it was partnered from the beginning before they went public. So they bought 19%, and Ford bought 15%.
Okay.
The stock went public. It went from 90 to 170. Ford got out. Then it came down. Then it went below the IPO price, and then I was start buying, and I was wrong. And then it kept going down. I was keep buying, and I was wrong. And then it was going further down, and I was keep buying, and I was wrong. Okay, but I was wrong. I was wrong, but it didn't hurt me. You know what I mean?
You were wrong on the 2% position.
Yes,
It's okay to lose 2%.
yes. I'm not gonna take a crazy risk, 10% of my portfolio.
Yep.
So it's all about risk management. And let me tell you, Rivian has $8 billion on the balance sheet, so it can last them for a couple of more years. The moment they start making profits, okay, that stock is going to be $100 within 6 months.
Oh yeah, you think so?
And they say they're gonna turn gross margin positive by the end of 2024. That's highly unlikely. That's just optimism. That's not
Yeah.
gonna happen.
What
Maybe
were
what?
what were the forecasts back in 2021 of the future margins?
What was the forecast?
Yeah, there were
No,
some slides presentation.
I don't remember I don't remember the numbers, but at the time it was quite optimistic.
Yeah,
Just
that's an IPO, normal.
yes, it was quite optimistic, and you can go by forecast. I mean, the forecasts are they're not accurate, so you can't go by forecast. You can go by a forecast about the economy. You can go by about the stock market forecast. It's
Yeah.
just Howard Marks said there are two kinds of forecasters: the ones that know they don't know, and the ones that they don't know they don't know.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. And still people are making them year after year.
Yes.
I remember on eToro in the past few months, we talked about the Fed and the impact of Jerome Powell interest rate
Mhm.
decisions, the impact on the whole market, how, for example, change in interest rates could impact the markets. And we had this debate of, is it useful to watch the Fed or not? Tomorrow, well, Jerome Powell will speak and we will have an interest rate decision. What are your views on this?
I would be very surprised if he cuts tomorrow.
Same.
Actually, if you see the behavior of crypto market today going down, like Bitcoin going down 5, 6, 7%, Ethereum, looking that, I would say that Jay Parr is going to come out tomorrow. It's going to sound, it's not going to be dovish. It's going to be hawkish tomorrow. It's going to be a hawk tomorrow. It's going to say, you know what? No, I don't know if we're getting a cut in June, because my initial position in the beginning of the year, I said, you guys forget about March, because the last two CPIs, they came above expectations.
Mhm.
So we're not supposed to go the other way. So I don't think, I will be very surprised if the Fed cuts tomorrow. I think they're going to hold it, and then we'll move it to June. And if the data keep coming the way they have been coming the last 2 or 3 months, then we'll move it to September. And they're not going to cut. They are
Yeah,
not cutting.
there are very few reasons why they would cut. Like the economy is strong, labor market is strong, everything, every stock is going up. There is
Yeah.
no recession coming. The economy is even too good, too hot. At the same time, China is suffering. So if you compare different countries, you don't want to touch the US right now. They are in a good position. Why would you change this and impact the whole economy? Like it's even a risk of overheating the economy if you cut rates. So yeah, it's a difficult task for Jerome Powell, but yeah, I would be very surprised if there is a change in tone or a change in interest rates. Actually, the polls from Wall Street say that there is a 100% chance that they don't cut. And I don't even know if in September they will cut interest rates. I will be even surprised if there is a cut in 2024.
Maybe towards the end of the year, maybe they're going to cut a quarter or two, but the beginning of the year they were saying it's going to be seven cuts this year. Seven.
Yeah, delusional.
Cuts,
Crazy.
a quarter percentage each. Yeah, right. That's not happening.
No. People went crazy, and I don't know if they cut. Imagine where Bitcoin will be. Like they will.
Bitcoin would be 100K by now if they were cutting.
Yeah.
If they will start cutting. But so my position about the Fed is not just about inflation. So the whole thing with interest rates and the Fed share is not just about inflation, this current inflation. So I watched all the press conferences going back 2, 3, 4 years. So he mentioned so many times about history, about the 1970s and 80s. When the 80s inflation came up, they got the rates up, and then they will start cutting, and then inflation came back up, and then the other guy, Paul Volcker, came and spiked them to 15% and all that. So me seeing that, and he didn't say one time, in 3 or 4 press conferences, he repeated again and again and again. And I know it's the whole thing, it's back on his mind. And let's be honest here. I know they meet all together as a committee and they discuss it and they hear to each other's opinions, but they do whatever he says. If he says we're not cutting, we're not cutting. I know that they try to be like, we're getting all together and kumbaya, and we all have an input in the decision. Let's not be ridiculous. He's going to take the credit and he's going to take the blame. So he's going to make the decision. He makes the decision. So, and he's not going to be he's not going to be chairman after this year, because if Trump wins, he's going to let him go. And if Biden wins, he also going to let him go, because Biden is not pleased by the high rates getting so close to the election. Okay. Trump, he wants cheap money, of course. So that's the end of the road. So his legacy is at stake. So if he cuts now just to satisfy the market, okay, and then inflation comes back up in 2025, who's going to get the blame? He's going to get the blame.
Yeah, it's an easy
And
blame.
for what?
Yeah.
Yes, he's going to get a big blame. Okay, historians and economists to the end of time, they're going to call him an idiot. Okay, like the guy who was the guy before Paul Volcker. Do you know him?
No.
Me neither, because it doesn't matter. Because the guy before, because the guy who messed it up, he's going to be forgotten by history. But the guy who put it together and got it together, he's going to be a rock star. He's going to be a legend.
It's a hero.
It's a hero. So he wants to be a hero. Who doesn't want to be a hero? He wants to be a hero. And do you remember in 2020 when he said, we're not thinking about raising?
Yeah.
That came back and haunt him like big time. They were making fun of him like for so long. So he's not making that mistake again. So he's not cutting, in my opinion, until inflation gets well into the 2%. Maybe they're gonna cut a quarter there, quarter here, but I think we are months away from the first cut. That's my opinion.
Yeah, same thing for inflation is transitory. Well, they have been saying that
Yeah,
for more than 1
yes,
year, more than 2 years. If it's transitory, but it lasts 4 years, well,
yes,
everybody has lost 20% of their saving with
yes,
inflation. So even if it's transitory, it has a cost and it has to be dealt with. So yeah, that's funny. And if it cuts, it will be less and less transitory. If there is
yes.
3% inflation, 4% inflation for 5, 6 years, well, everybody will lose 20%, 30% of their savings.
So they have to get inflation down one way or another. Okay, 3% is a lot. Okay, 2%, 2%. The target 2%, in my opinion, is a lot. It should be in the 1%. But the policy is 2%. The target is 2%, and I get that. So they have to get into the mid twos. The CPI has to get the headline have to get into the mid twos, mid 2%. So when it gets into the mid twos, then they can start cutting a little bit, and then they're gonna see how it goes. But until then, it will be a mistake to cut, in my opinion, because the Fed conditioned the markets to go one way. So we either raise and we stay up, and then we start cutting. We're not going
Yeah,
up and down. So they have to get it right. But they also they try to time it. They try to time the market, not the market, they try to time inflation to get it exactly right, start cutting, and still get the soft landing. Because if you don't get a soft landing, then what's the point?
yeah, he will not be a
Up,
hero.
yeah. If he gets a soft landing, if he gets inflation in the 2%, and then they let him go, it's gonna be a legend. It's gonna be up there with Volcker, in my opinion.
Yep, that would be like the perfect scenario. And to happen, it means that there is no shock, no other pandemic, no other external shock, banking
Yeah.
crises, etc. There is a very low probability that it happens. Like we
Yeah.
had some banking issues last year, like there was some panic about the rates. And if you
Mm-hmm.
look at the forecast of rates, people were expecting like 6 rates in 2023 or something like this. People were panicking. And then the soft landing happened. So as you say, if everything turns out to be good and the CPI comes below 2%, this is the most beautiful soft landing we will have. But
Yes.
it will take a long time to reach CPI below 2% with like all the raw materials, oil going back up, all the energy sector going back up. It will be very hard to dip below 2%. Wow, very hard.
Below 2%, I don't think we're gonna see a below 2% CPI unless we get into a recession.
Yeah,
Unless we get into a really bad recession, we're not gonna see below 2%. Below 3%, the way it's going now, it's gonna take a while to get well below 3%, because the last two months we've been going the other way.
yep,
So,
yeah,
but like I said, I would be very surprised if if they cut tomorrow.
yep, that's true. But you are hedged if it goes well. If inflation is higher than expected, you go well because you're investing in oil. If it
Mm-hmm.
goes bad, well, you still have some tech and some Tesla.
Yeah,
So that's good for lower interest rates, good
yeah.
financing, etc. You're hedged. You have comfortably locked a 40% gain last year. Now
Mm-hmm.
you have a comfortable position in your portfolio. And let me remind people that Dimitris He has a public portfolio on eToro, and I will put the link in the description down below if people want to see his portfolio. He's a very good investor, and you will have your daily dose of macroeconomic post, your daily dose of some commentaries on the market, so that you will learn a lot. And you can, on eToro, you can copy his portfolio. That means you will copy his investment. When he buys something, you will buy. When he sells, you will sell. And so far, the performance has been good. So I recommend to check out his portfolio in the description below.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks for coming.
We'll see you guys on the next one.